Okay, so I'm going to do my best to explain this, hopefully without confusing anybody anymore. So my first step in any of this is to get the y all by itself. And in problem number 6, that's already been done. So now my second step is to identify my y-intercept. So when x is 0, what's the y value? Well, in my first problem, when x is 0, y is 3. So that's my y-intercept. So I'm going to draw a dot at 3. Now I'm going to look at my slope. It says 2/3 x. Slope is rise over run. So that means I go up 2 and over, so up 2 over 3, like that. And then I could go back 3 and down 2 and get my other dot. It's greater than or equal to, so that means it includes the line. So I'm just going to erase this part right here. Okay, and go back to this, and so I have a solid line. Now it says y is greater than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade everything above. And it also includes the line itself. So now let's look at our second one. I'm going to make this one red. And the first step, y is already all by itself, so that's good. My y-intercept is -3, so I'm going to put a dot there because when x is 0, y is -3, and my slope is -4/3. So that means you go over 4 and down 3, or back 4 and up 3, whichever way works best for you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I know I'm going to have, a downward facing slanting line because it's a negative slope. Okay, and it's greater than, so it's going to be a dashed line. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out, okay, so is y the values all above it or below it? To the right of it or to the left of it? Well, since y is greater than those things, it's going to be above. And so my solution set is where the two things meet. So I'm just going to kind of draw a little circle around where those two things meet for the solution set. Give me a second here. I'm going to change my pen color. And so the solution set is this space right in here where the two things meet. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next slide. Okay, I've got 4x plus y is less than 2. So what I'm going to do here is step 1 is I'm going to get y all by itself. So I've got y 4x plus y is less than 2. I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. So what I have is y is less than -4x plus 2. Okay, so there, right there is my y-intercept, and -4 is my slope. So I just have to plot when x is 0, y is 2, and my slope is -4. So you can go down 4 and over 1, and you get that spot. And that's going to give you your straight line. It's less than, so it's going to be a dashed line. So I know it's not pretty, pretend it's good. And y is all values less than that, so I'm going to shade below it or to the right of it. Okay, now let's go ahead and do our next one. Y is greater than -2. So what that means is no matter what x is, y is everything above -2. So I draw a dashed line there because it's greater than, not greater than or equal to. And I'm going to shade in everything that's above it. And my solution is the part that's both red and green. Okay, and let's do one more. Number 8. Okay, so step 1 is I have to get y all by itself. So I have 3x, I'm still using the highlighter, so let me get rid of that. Okay, still using the highlighter is not good. Okay, so 3x plus 2y is greater than or equal to negative 2. So first I want to isolate the y. I want to get it all by itself. So that means I have to subtract 3x from both sides. So I get 2y is greater than or equal to negative 3x minus 2. Now I have to get y totally by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I get y is greater than or equal to negative 3/2 x minus, and that's 2 over 2, which is just 1. So now I've got my y-intercept is that right there, negative 1, and there's my slope, negative 3/2, and slope is rise over run. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plot this one really quick. So my y-intercept is at negative 1. Okay, sometimes it's kind of funny about letting me do that. And then my slope is negative 3/2, so you can drop 3 and go over 2. So I should have a line, and it's going to be a solid line because it's greater than or equals to. So it just goes like this, okay? And it's everything larger than that, so it's going to be these values. So let's go to my next one, and we'll just go ahead and go blue for that. X plus 2y is less than or equal to 2. I'm going to get rid of the x, so I get 2y is less than or equal to negative x plus 2. And I've got to totally isolate the y, so I divide it by 2. Whatever you do to one side of an equation, you have to do to the other. So what I'm going to get, I'm going to draw it over here, is I'm going to get y is less than or equal to negative 1/2 x. And then positive 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that means that my y-intercept is at positive 1, so when x is 0, y is at 1. My slope is negative 1/2, which means I drop down 1, go over 2. Drop down 1, go over 2. Give me a second here. It's being difficult. I just want to draw dots. Okay, and it's less than or equal to, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line. Okay, and that means I can shade. Okay, y is less than or equal to, it's the stuff below it. Okay, and if you wanted to, you could pick a point in any of these and test that by plugging it into x or y, or x and y, and seeing if it's true in both equations, or inequalities actually. All right, that's it.